Namaste, dear tigers out there, and welcome to Monday Flow. So today we are going to refresh, calm, come to our center and restore a little bit. So there'll be a kind of brief dynamicism in the middle. But other than that, everything is going to be kind of to luxuriate or find something more subtle. So hopefully today will be something that can bring us into a bit more groundedness, land us in the day, morning, noon or night, and land us more firmly planted in our bodies. So we're going to start on the ground and really try to allow that little bit of a shift if you're in a slightly more sort of buzzing or even slightly stressed out mind space. Come to your cross legs and we'll find that little shift of the hips side to side. If you need something underneath you to keep your hips more even or just to rise you up a little bit, please bring that in. So let's take a little wrap of the shoulders back and down, just a couple of times. Just to get a sense of detangling that space for more breath. And then just bring your shoulders down and away from the ears. And we're just going to change up the breath a little bit. So we're going to breathe in through the nose and just hold that breath gently at the top. Breathing in. Gently hold that breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, open the mouth up, and 1, let that go. And you might draw the second breath from a deeper place, inhaling through the nose. Gently lock that at the top for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, open the mouth and exhale. And we're just going to do that one more time, breathing in. Gently hold. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then breathe with your mouth closed. Take a few moments to feel whether the hands are holding any tension for you today, whether you can release the fingers from that little bit of a grip. Same with the shoulders, arms, and face muscles. And after sort of switching our idea of our breathing and just sort of mastering a little bit of depth through that breath, just see how your breath feels as it moves more naturally in and out. Just a few more breaths here. Just discover your breath today. Don't worry if you have a bit of sound like I do in your house or just outside. It's all part of our present moment. And then start to move away from those external sounds a little bit. And we're just going to take hands together, prayer position, towards that third eye point, space between the eyebrows. And just massage a little circle into that point between the eyebrows. Free up any crinkled thoughts there. Connect to that point of intuition. And just take a couple of breaths to sort of move your focus a little deeper inwards. How does it feel to be in our body today, particularly in the face muscles and forehead here? And then just breathe to gently separate the hands. We're going to take first the middle fingers into the temples and massage that space free, particularly connected to the jaw. Maybe some jaw tension can be felt to release. And again, find some breath. and just deepening our curiosity. How does it feel to be in these tight, tight temples today? How does it feel to be in your body here? I'm going to move that massage when you're ready, unless you want to stay there for a bit, of course you can. I'm going to move that towards the jaw and massage that big chewing muscle on either side of the cheeks, close to the earlobes. Just sort of feel that you could massage and release maybe something a bit held there. Nice, soft jaw. When you're ready, just release that and just bring your hands together, back together to your chest space. And for a breath or two, just feel the little echo of the massage we've just made within those points. See if you can release some tension internally as well. So we're coming from a place of noticing more subtle sensation, hopefully. So let's bring the hands a little lower, in the line of the elbows roughly. Starting a little bit of power between the arms. So there's almost a push of the hands together here, all the way to the fingertips. And we're just going to inhale and move both elbows to your left. So I'm just mirroring you here. I just feel how there's a little bit of a space opens up in the chest and the back of the shoulder. You might sort of move that around a little bit if you're curious about that. And then we're going to inhale to lift the crown and exhale, just draw the crown of your head away from that left elbow. So you're getting a bit of space in your neck as well. And we're just breathing here for 3. Maybe the eyes close. A little push between the hands. Exhale, and then inhale to lift your crown and bring your hands to center, just going the other way. A little push of that elbows towards your right side. Feel the shoulder. Maybe a nice bit of space opens up in the back of the shoulder blade. We're going to lift the crown and just sort of draw it away from your extended elbow slightly. Breathe into the neck, maybe eyes are slightly down. Breathe into the right side of the chest, right side of the shoulder. So we're starting to think about the direction of the breath, or the focus of the breath. Send another breath to your shoulder. Inhale, let's move the crown upwards, take the hands into center and just release. So we're going to take the feet underneath us. And if you're not already, we're going to face the front of the mat and just shimmy, shimmy, shimmy back to your child's pose. Bringing your hands forwards and just taking your knees a little bit wide to rock your torso in between the thighs. So this actually could have quite a lot of sensation for you, particularly if your hips are super tight. So just take 2 or 3 breaths to just sit back towards the heels, stretch your shoulders. Stretch your lower back. Make sure the breath is almost in your back here. We're really broadening out the rib cage. The next breath in, we're going to find our way up to tabletop. So hands underneath the shoulders and knees underneath your hips. We're just going to start to move a little bit of roundness into your back. So your chin comes towards the chest, so does the tailbone. And then sort of take the shape slightly forwards as you walk your hands forwards. Come down all the way to the belly. Hands underneath the shoulders, we're going to take a little cobra, stretch the belly, skin, lift the heart. and come back over tucked toes. A really nice long spine there on the way back. So we're going to repeat that. We're going to inhale, round out your back, chin to chest. Exhale down to the belly. Hands placed under the shoulders. Inhale to lift the chest, free up a little arch. Lift the hips and come back over tucked toes with your exhale. So take a couple more and just really move with your own breath. Starting to combine movement and breath is how we're going to move towards our connection today. As you land back over your heels on that last time, you can keep your toes tucked. So we've got a little puppy dog pose. If you want to go a bit deeper, we're going to lift the wrist with energetic fingertips. A couple of you might even come up, send your hands further away, and let your chest move down between the shoulders in a full puppy dog pose. Any of those versions that works for you. Taking another 2 deep breaths to think about melting down the back of your chest with your warming exhale. As we release our breath, release the hands, untuck the toes and just slide back to child's pose. And then we're going to inhale and start to walk your chest up so that you end up sitting on your shins for a moment. And we're just going to sort of move into just a few spaces of the body, so we kind of used everything today. So I'm going to turn the palms face up, press to the backs of the hands and just take a nice full breath into that wrist stretch. Just one more. Release. Find your way forwards and come back to tabletop. This time sending your left hand all the way forwards. Your right hand's going to come and feed through this new space under your left armpit. And I want you to find your way around, maybe to the back of the shoulder, maybe slightly onto the back of the head, but not putting pressure anywhere. Make sure your breath can still flow. If in doubt, just slide back to your child's pose. And that one can be a little bit tricky to find the right space sometimes. One last breath into the back of the shoulder. Inhaling, let's release and take your right hand forwards, and now we've got that space under the right armpit for that left hand to thread through. Finding a bit of the back of the shoulder, maybe slightly onto the back of the head, but no pressure, no force. Just enjoying that little twist around the top of the body, a bit of space for the shoulder. And releasing on your next breath. Hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to lift and take your knees up energetically as we tuck the toes. Hips up and back over the heels into your down dog. So starting to use the energy through the hands. And maybe taking a pedal of the heels side to side. One heel down and the other. Feel your calf muscles, your hamstrings, and we're just pedaling that bicycle in down dog, giving a nice heavy head. And you can even nod the head slightly, remind that to give into gravity. Let your breath flow through the spine. Making sure that we've kind of tended to a few forgotten spaces today. We're just going to bring the feet level and still. Don't worry if the knees are slightly bent here to keep your spine long. Just going to lift your right foot and just flip that so that the back of your toes, the top of your foot is pressing onto the ground as you lift the hips. Just a little stretch for your toes. one big breath. And then pick that up, flip that back. We'll take the left foot off the ground and flip the foot. So the back of your toes, the back of the foot is on the floor, stretching the top of your foot. Keep lifting your hips, energize your arms. And then flip that back where it came from. So we'll take just a little step or a couple of steps towards the front of the mat. Feet at hips distance to forward. Take just a moment to shake the head here, just some softness through the sides of the neck. And then add that weight to your arms as well. Strong legs, strong feet. Putting a tiny bend in both knees, we're going to start to roll up from your forward stretch. So hands are heavy, head is heavy. Think your way into each stacking vertebrae. Lifting and then stacking, lifting and then stacking, and then all the way up to the crown as the shoulders roll back and down. And we're just going to reverse that movement. So we're going to let your chest come down, stick the bum out. Hands are still heavy, but your head sort of waits to drape down all the way to the ground. Inhaling, let's find that left foot, step it all the way back to your lunge position. And as we inhale and move forwards, we're just going to land the left knee. So a few things might be a good lunge for you here. You might shuffle your right foot forwards, sit forwards with your fingertips framing your front foot. It's quite a deep stretch there. Coming a step back, you might take your hips slightly back, rise your chest and take your hands to the thigh, moving in as little or as much as you want to. And we're just taking a couple more breaths, letting that elongate through the hip, the psoas muscle. And then we're going to meet rising the arms. So take your hips slightly back. We're going to interlace the hands behind the head. Lift the elbow tips and lean back in the hands as you move forward slightly, taking 2 big breaths. Letting the breath flow through the chest, down to the hips. And then push back into your front foot. Bring back your balance and just look towards your navel. Your elbows are just going to come slightly together to stretch the back of the head, back of the neck, sorry. So not pulling your head down by any means, just a little bit of a stretch. Nothing too sensational. As we lift the eyes, lift the head, release the hands. I'm going to keep moving back. So we'll take the fingertips either side of your knee on the ground. Take a little hamstring stretch through the right leg, possibly lift the ball of that right foot, possibly tuck the back toes and sit all the way back on that half monkey. So you want to be in that right hamstring, however, to whatever degree feels good today. Sometimes just really subtly moving up and back just feels really good. And just breathe into the sensation you find. Last breath. Inhaling, let's rise the chest, rise our eyes and move forwards. Coming off the back knee, we're just going to take a little step and then exhaling to land your left foot as well. So feet are now equal as we fold. Taking a couple of breaths to shake the head out, find more space through the hamstrings, more weight through the chest. Nice heavy arms as we bend the knees strong back, pressing into your feet to roll up. Slowly, slowly, stacking everything. As you rise your crown, shoulders back and down. Taking a breath in The breath out is leading with the chest down, so almost a reversal of that movement. So the arms come down, tailbone sticks out. We find a nice heavy drop over the head as we stretch the legs. Starting to lift the right foot, let's take it as a step or a few steps back to find your lunge position. Inhaling, we're going to move down to your right knee. So you might be here, sort of slightly framing your front foot with the fingertips if that's not too deep, and you can sit forwards as much or as little as you want. If you want to move back a stage, if that's a little strong, which it can be, we might be finding our balance, taking the thigh. And then just sort of gently moving in and being curious about where that sensation feels tender, nice and open, but not hitting no sort of sharp sensations there. So we're going to start to rise the arms, move the hips slightly back, and take the hands to interlace behind the head so we can get into the pectorals and just lift up the chest and heart. Elbows open slightly, moving forwards again, big breath in, big breath out. So now that feeling of stretching the hip might be moving into the stomach, maybe even the chest. And one more time, we're going to move back. So we're pushing from the front foot, leveling the hips and maybe looking towards your belly button as you gently bring the elbows slightly together. We're not pulling on the head. There's a bit of space maybe to the mid-back, starting to stretch. Inhale to lift the eyes, lift the elbows and release the hands. So exhale, I'm going to take hands to frame your front knee, move back as much or as little as you want into the left hamstring. We're bowing our nose down towards that knee. So that might be a small movement, a small lift, a flex of the heel, or almost drawing back to sit on your right heel. As we inhale, start to lift your gaze, but just to sort of sort out your feet as we slightly tuck your right foot underneath you. So you might be using your hands to come back. And we want to end up, however you want to arrive is great. You might end up with your right knee bent out towards your right side, left heel flexed, toes pointing towards the ceiling. So you might peel out your glutes slightly so you're sitting more evenly on the sit bones. And we're going to breathe to lift the arms. And then exhale just to frame that left leg. And it can be anywhere from the knee, even the thigh, knee, shin or ankles here, and just dropping the head. So we want to feel the most direct stretch we can. Kind of sending your left hip back so we're not swerving open to the right side. Keeping energy in the extended knee and the extended toes. And then sort of freeing up the upper body. So not really thinking about instructions on the top of the body except to release. Drop the head and let your breath flow. Last deep breath there. Inhale and let's walk the chest upwards. And we're just going to switch. Right knee comes up, send that away. Left knee comes up and opens. Let's peel out the glutes a little bit. Breathe in to take the arms up. And breathe out to take your hands to frame your knee, your shin or your ankles, whatever feels good. You don't have to go too far here. Keep that energy sort of drawing back your right hip, equal through the tailbone, and then relaxed and ventilated through the top of the body. breath or two, really feel where the stretch is for you. Try and keep it slightly energetic inside the muscles. And then breathe in to lift the chest. Good, so we're just going to lift your right knee and gently open that up. So actually you would be in crossed legs with the right leg underneath, except that we're actually keeping this slightly open. And you might peel the glutes again if you're getting the hang of it. And we're taking hands to the knees. Breathing in to take the chest forwards. Exhale to sort of lift the mid-body and then drape the chest. You can find the hands here, the forearms, or a couple of you might be quite comfortable moving yourself all the way forwards to the arms and dropping the head. That's quite a deep stretch, so maybe somewhere in between might feel quite good. Feel the difference in where the stretch is. A really similar position for the legs, but a completely different stretch in the glutes, around the back of the hip, base of the pelvis. And just notice where that stretch is and just take 2 or 3 breaths to sort of direct your breath into it so you can expand or detangle that area. Big breath in, let's lift the chest. I'm going to just do a switch. So let's bring both knees up. And as if you're just crossing your legs with the left leg under, but then we're just going to open it up. And we might peel those glutes again. Hands towards the knees. We're going to lift the chest, lift the sternum, and exhale, drape it all down. So you might be at the hands, the forearms, or even all the way out. But one side might feel a lot tighter. You might be getting just as much sensation from a slightly less deep position. So just kind of notice the different sides as well. As we breathe for 3 or 4, just stay with where the sensation is coming from. Inhaling, let's start to lift the chest and pick up the knees, setting them at hips distance apart. Now if, like me, you've ended up right at the back of your mat, we're going to shimmy very gracefully into the centre. So you've got space behind you for your back. But before we get there, hands to the shins. Inhaling to lift the chest. Exhaling to look towards your belly button really gently as you hang into a hammock. Inhaling, pick up belly button, mid-chest, nose, and then exhale, reverse it, nose, chest, belly button. And then we'll take a couple more, big breath in, long spine, big breath out, rounding, big breath in, and big breath out. We're going to let go of the shins. Keep yourself a little bit activated in the core as you come down. And as you reach the floor, we're going to pick up both knees. So you're hanging on to both shins here. So we actually get that really nice weight over our back. I'm going to enjoy that as we just send your right leg away, just for a little stretch into your hip. A rotation of your left ankle. So you've got your left shin with your interlaced hands. And we're just going to do a little exchange. Bring your right knee back in. Interlace the hands over your right shin. Stretch your left leg away. and rotate your right ankle. Give that a little squeeze more. Exhale. Start to bring your left knee back in towards you. So we've got both shins again. Then move into happy baby. Sending your hands inside your feet. So for some people, your variation might be outside edges of the feet with the hands. But whatever feels good, I prefer the inside. We're going to take the knees a little bit bent here, so they're bending towards your elbow tips and towards the ground. So if you need to pause and look at me first if you don't know your happy baby well. So actually we're just kind of bringing the small of your back into the mat. We're sending some space outwards through the heels, but the knees are generously bent here. It's almost like a double lizard. And as we breathe, you might take a little rock if you know a movement that suits you. A little rock side to side can be nice. Or just staying still. I'm going to take the last 3 breaths to just feel a little bit of space expand in the hips. Possibly stretch your heels outwards so your legs are moving towards straightened. Not necessarily straightened, just stretching out. Exhale, really slowly come back through that child's pose, happy baby pose, and bring your feet together, then your knees together. So with the knees together towards our chest, we're going to open up the arms, stretch the fingertips and wriggle the fingers either side of you. Letting both knees roll over to your left side, take a little supine twist. So we're creating a little lightning bolt shape on the ground towards your left side. Just feel the space that moves into the chest as you look towards the ceiling. Feel that little inner massage. And we'll actually take 3 more breaths here. So just really try to indulge in that twist. And then as we inhale, we're going to take the knees up and over towards your right. So you're falling into that little lightning bolt shape on your right side. Chest again might draw back slightly towards the ceiling. And even this twist is a detox. So even if you're used to really deep twists, try to really indulge, luxuriate in this simple, relaxed twist, noticing that inner massage. As you breathe in, let's bring the knees towards the chest. Send your arms up above you and your feet out in front of you. So you're all along the ground, arms and legs are along the ground, but everything feels like a nice big yawn. And then a flop of your arms either side of you into your Shavasana. Relax the jaw. You might feel little echoes of some of your deepest stretches, the hips, the hands, shoulders, or even that little massage from the start, third eye, temples, jaw. Let's take a few moments here together just to relax, breathe, and try to imagine just existing in the present and letting your breath happen naturally and freely. starting our return journey back to awareness, but letting it feel very lightweight, like our awareness is perhaps a feather or a leaf that just lands at our center and spreads out to make us aware of every little corner of the body, fingertips, toe tips, crown, and then just bringing your focus to the heart and the mind. Breathing here for the last couple of breaths. Feel space open up as you inhale. Heaviness release as you exhale. Spaciousness and energy in. And letting go of tension and weight as you breathe out. And just taking your last couple of breaths with the fingertips and the toes wriggling. Maybe there's some clicks in there. And then start to bundle up the knees. We'll take a little tumble over to the left side, curling up in your hedgehog. And then making your way gently up and to cross legs. Okay. So it's actually turned from day to night here. Just take a little roll of the shoulders back and down. Let's close with left hand to the upper chest, right hand on top. Bowing your chin to your chest, feeling closer to that center. Taking one last breath to create a bridge. And then palm to palm. Let's bow to ourselves today. Namaste. So I hope that you're feeling a little bit mellow and a bit more grounded, and that you can take that into the rest of your morning, your day, or your night. And thanks so much for joining me. I hope to see you soon, or for you to see me soon. Thanks so much. Namaste.